we have been learning some units from your paper second, that is plant physiology. Today we are going to switch on very interesting another unit, that is unit number 6, seed dormancy and germination. My friends, you will have to keep in mind perpetuation, or we have to say that reproductions, multiplication of the plant. That is important. We have to say that the characteristic of each and every living organism is there. So we know that in case of the plant, they are producing, means flowering plant producing flowers, and later on that flowers shows presence of, we know that that is one of the most important ovary, and that ovary later on gets converted into, that is matured ovary is nothing but the fruit, and the mature ovules which are present into that fruit, that is known as a seed. So here today we have to learn very interesting unit, that is 6th unit from your plant physiology paper second of SYBSc, that is the seed dormancy and germination. Now here we have to keep in mind actually what is that, means we have to learn about the dormancy of the seed. Very interesting. In short, if you want to keep in mind the definition of a dormancy, that is nothing but resting period. So that is the short, very interesting definition which general people can understand very easily. That is nothing but the seed is a right now dormant. For example, another example I will tell to you. Suppose we are in a sleeping condition, or we are not in an active condition. So that is an inactive condition. Similar way, although all the atmosphere is favorable to the seed, all atmospheres, water is available, then we have to say light is there, dark is there, all each and everything, whatever things are required to that seed are there. Then also seed never germinate. In the sense, seed is in the resting period, and that type of resting period is nothing but the physiologically inactive condition. As a science student, as a botany student, as a physiology student, that is nothing but the seeds are in a physiologically inactive condition, isn't it? So in case of seed dormancy, Waring is the name of scientist, Waring. In 1969, according to that scientist Waring, that is the phase in the life cycle of the plant in which active growth is temporarily suspended, isn't it? Active growth is a temporarily suspended. That is according to the Waring, who has given that type of a definition for the dormancy of the seed, for the physiologically inactive condition of the seed, for the resting period of the seed. That is nothing but the active growth is temporarily suspended. Now, in such a condition, seed is known as a dormant one. When seed is in the resting period condition or physiologically inactive condition, at that time we have to say that that seed is a dormant seed. And a phenomenon or process is known as a dormancy. Is it clear to you? Now, what are the types of the seed dormancy? So there are the two types. There is a exogenous seed dormancy and another is a endogenous seed dormancy. Means by these names, by this word, you may come to know that exogenous seed dormancy is nothing but the seeds kept into dormant condition because of external factors. External conditions are responsible for keeping seeds in a dormant condition. Whenever such things are happening, we have to say that that is the exogenous seed dormancy. Whenever internal factors are responsible for keeping the seed into resting condition, or we have to say that in dormant condition, then we have to say that endogenous seed dormancy. These are the main two types. Other types are there that are depend upon which type of conditions are responsible for making the seed dormant, isn't it? Now, here the actually table is there of a getting idea about types of the seed dormancy. Already I have told you there are the main two, but here we can see the four are there. Means ectogenous, first one means external, ectogenous. Endogenous means internal, and double dormancy, that dormancy is because of ectony endogenous conditions. Last one, that is secondary dormancy, isn't it? Secondary dormancy that we can find in case of dormancy in imbibed seeds. Although conditions are favorable, secondary dormancy is there. Friends, you have to keep in mind ectogenous, external dormancy. That dormancy is imposed by the external factors. Dormancy imposed by external factors. Which those factors are there? Physical factors are there, mechanical factors are there. Again, chemical factors are there. So, exo or ectogenous dormancy is the dormancy imposed by the external factors. So that factors are physical factors, mechanical factors, chemical factors are there, and that factors are responsible just to keep the seed in a dormant condition. Endogenous means dormancy is imposed by internal factors that are nothing but the physiological factor, isn't it? That are nothing but the physiological factor, PD. That may be the deep, intermediate, non-deep are there. Morphological factors are there, isn't it? Morphophysiological factors are there. Photodormancy means because of the light, we have to say that condition is responsible to make the seed dormant one. Another, here we can able to see that is a thermodormancy because of temperature, epicotyl dormancy, endodormancy, and a embryo dormancy. Keep in mind embryo dormancy. So these are the, we have to say that the types of a dormancy are there, that we have to learn one by one. What the things are going to happen, which type of factors are going to imposing the seeds dormancy, isn't it? Now, ectogenous dormancy, or we have to say that exogenous dormancy. As already we have learned, external factors, those factors which are outside the embryo are responsible for making a seed dormant or keep a seed into a resting period or in a dormant condition. The tissue and enclosing embryo affects germination by inhibiting water uptake. How the things are going to happen? The external factors which are outside the embryo, that factors are preventing the entry of water up to the embryo or inhibiting water uptake, and that uptake is, we have to say that, prevented because of mechanical resistance, isn't it? So that things are responsible just in avoiding embryo expansion and radical emergence. So students, you will have to keep in mind, have you seen the embryo? If not, one thing you have to do, take the groundnut seeds, open that groundnut seed carefully, so you will be able to find out very white small part attached to out of that two cotyledons of the groundnut seed, and that is nothing but the embryo. So in imbibition process, in uptake of water process, that water is to be reaches up to the embryo, because embryo is the miniature of a that plant, isn't it? Miniature of a huge size plant, that is nothing but the embryo. Embryo develops into a huge size plant. Suppose coconut is there, coconut having embryo, isn't it? Now, it also modifies gaseous exchange. So there is no exchange of gases. It prevents leaching of the inhibitors from the embryo and supplies inhibitor to the embryo so that the embryo does not germinate. Many barriers developed by, we have to say that, external factors. One thing you will have to keep in mind, my friends, without water, without gases, without water, the germination of a seed is not possible, isn't it? So no exchange of gases, no availability of the water. Again, sometimes although these two things are available, some factors, external factors, prevents the leaching of inhibitors from the embryo. Unless until inhibitors get leached out from the seed, embryo never develops, isn't it? Or sometimes supplement of inhibitors is there. So these things, such a factors are nothing but the ectogenous factors or external factors which are responsible for keeping seeds in a dormant conditions, and that are responsible for the dormancy of the seed. Now, there are three types of exogenous seed dormancy. How many are there? There are three types of exogenous seed dormancy. First one is physical dormancy, means physical things are responsible in that one, that is nothing but the seed coat, covering of a seed. Suppose, my friends, I have given to you a groundnut pod, sheng, and ask you to sow into the as it is. So what happens actually? Seed coat prevents the entry of a water up to the embryo, up to the seed. Imbibition is not there, gas exchange is not there, leaching out of inhibitors is not there because of hard seed coat of that ground. So that will not germinate. Suppose we have removed that seed coat and then we have sown the seeds, then what happens actually? Seed germinate immediately. So physical dormancy, that is of a because of seed coat. Mechanical dormancy, mechanical things are responsible to keep seeds into a dormant condition. Chemical factors, chemical things which are present into the seed, that are nothing but the we have to say that now after this one we have to get in detail about the how the mechanical dormancy, chemical dormancy is there in the seeds, or because of which type of a factors. Physical dormancy, here we will be able to see that already I have given you idea, that is because of a presence of a seed coat, isn't it? So we know that most of the plants are there, isn't it? In that one, seed coat is there, which is impermeable to the water and gases, isn't it? Because these things are required for the germination of the seeds, and if that are not available, or we have to say that because of seed coat, which acts as a barrier for the reaching of a water up to the seed or gases up to the seed, so definitely germination will not take place. And this type of we can find in case of the drupe plant, mango. Keep in mind, the fruit of mango, single seeded fruit is there. If we will take out that seed, hard stony seed is that one, so that actually seed coat prevents the entry of water, gases up to the embryo, isn't it? Now examples: olive, peach, plum, apricot, cherries, mango, these are the examples of the drupe plant. In that we can find the seed coat, and that seed coat is responsible for keeping a seed into dormant condition. Whenever such a type of factor is there, that factor is known as physical dormancy. Such type of dormancy is known as a physical dormancy, and such type of factor is known as physical factors. The seed coat becomes hard. Seed coat become hard and subberized in the preventing germination because of deposition of a subberine, that becomes hard, and that hard things prevent the entry of a water and impervious to the water and gases. So you might have come to know that how the things are going to happen into that one. Another thing is that physical dormancy is also designated by PY, isn't it? That is PY. It is mainly due to the water impermeable layer, palisade cells in the seed of the fruit coat These seeds prevent uptake of water and avoid the seed germination. Anacardiaceae member, Anacardium occidentalis. Some plants like a rus species, the endocarp consists of a three layers, isn't it? Epicarp, endocarp, and mesocarp. These are the three we have to say that layers are there. Out of that one, now we have seen in case of the epicarp, but now we have to see that by endocarp. It consists of a three palisades layers. Is a palisade tissue? Three layers of that palisade tissue are there, isn't it? Again, there are also outer crystalliceous layer. I will show to you diagram, then you will come to know how the things are going to happen. Inducing dormancy. The Malpighian cells existing in many layers of the palisade cells found exotesta form and impermeable layers for the entry of water cell coat is there. Such a structure we can find in case of the members of the family Gyraneaceae. Isn't it physical? You might have understood that one. Physically, how the factor is going to prevent the becomes impermeable to the water and gases. Now, chemical, isn't it? After physical, chemical. You have to keep in mind chemical seed dormancy is nothing but because of presence of some chemical inhibitors. Seed germination never takes place. Although other factors are favorable for the germination of the seed. So which are those chemicals are there or chemical inhibitors are phenols, coumarins, ABA, abscisic acid. These inhibitor compounds are present in the seed or in the seed covering tissue and inhibit the seed germination. This is keeping them in the dormant condition. Mini fleshy, you have to keep in mind, mini fleshy fruits that is known to us, that is a tomato, grape, cucurbit, citrus, isn't it? So these are the juice is there. In that juice we can find the seeds. Exhibits the chemical which prevents the seed germination. That chemicals are nothing but the phenols, coumarins, abscisic acid, chemical inhibitors which prevent the germination of the seeds. Whenever such chemicals are responsible for keeping a seed in a dormant condition, we have to say that type of dormancy is nothing but the chemical dormancy. Now, mechanical dormancy. We have seen physical, we have seen chemical, now mechanical. This type of exogenous dormancy. Exogenous dormancy. The dormancy is due to very hard seed coat and hence the seeds will not germinate until and unless the seed coat is softened either by creating a moist and warm conditions in the storage or by microbial activity. Seed covering restricts the emergence of a radical and thus inducing a seed dormancy. For example, seeds of walnut, the shells of stones, olive too strong. This type of dormancy is due to the mechanical resistance of the seed coat, shells, stones of a different plants. Now, as already I have said to you, here we will be able to see that structure of a seed coat. In that one already I have said to you, this is the only structure of a seed coat is there, isn't it? In this one we will find cuticle is there, subcuticular layer, caps of Malpighian cells. As already I have said to you, there are a caps of Malpighian, light lines are there, lumen of the Malpighian cells are there, isn't it? So you have to keep in mind in Malpighian cells, that is the exotesta, as water becomes impermeable, palisade cell layer. So this is a palisade cell layer is there. Alternatively, we can find all these things, and this we have to say that structure is responsible for preventing entry of a water or becomes a barrier for the germination of the seeds is there, isn't it? This is the nutrient layer, and below that one space between the testa and endosperm, aileron layer, inner endosperm layer. So this is the structure of, we have to say, the testa, isn't it? So while drawing this diagram, while understanding about this diagram, you will come to know that how they actually the things are responsible to keep a seed in a dormant conditions for a long time, and unless and until these barriers are removed, it's either physical, chemical or mechanical, seed never germinates, isn't it? So my friends, with this, you might have understood about the resting period, physiological inactive condition of the seeds, which factors are responsible, external, internal. Again, we have to say that a combination of these two things, and again, that is nothing but a secondary dormancy is there. So this is nothing but about the what is dormancy of the seed, which factors are responsible to keeping the seed in a dormant condition or resting period, that we have learned today. With this, I would like to say thank you very much.